Do you hear? Okay, cool. Is that's loud enough? Cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and go live with us. Now we are live. Okay, cool. We're live. There's two whole people
Okay.
watching right now. So
Is that you and me?
no, I'm not actually watching.
Right. So, I mean, whenever you start a live stream on YouTube, there's a very awkward pause at the beginning where the host will say, well, I'm just going to wait here as people trickle in. But when you watch the replay, that's a really kind of
That's how it
crappy part of the
works.
video. So let's just jump into it. You are going to be fiddling with stuff
Yeah,
here on the screen.
the whole
And you've
time.
got some issues you're going to sort out. So I'm just going to introduce myself and maybe introduce you.
Well,
My name.
I want to make sure you do it right though. Um,
Well, my name is Dylan O'Donnell. I'm from the Byron Bay Observatory. I'm also in the Southern Hemisphere, like Corey Schmiss here. He is one half of the power couple, Corey and Tanya, from Photographing Space, and a number of other little projects that Corey runs, including his side hustle, which is photography and mountain biking stuff, going down hills really fast, risking life and limb in the pursuit of adrenaline. But it's the opposite of adrenaline now because we're doing astronomy, which is a nice, peaceful hobby that doesn't involve throwing yourself off a cliff. However, we are looking straight at Jupiter right now. I believe the GRS, the Great Red Spot, should be rotating into view there on the side.
it is,
We have
yes.
some atmospheric turbulence here. And when you look at the view of Jupiter like this as an astrophotographer, you see this shimmer, and every now and then one frame will just look amazing, and it just seems to sharpen up for a second. If Corey would stop moving it around and let the compression algorithm on YouTube catch up, you might be able to notice that.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about right now. Oh, now it's gone. No. Yeah, I'm just using this nice auto align feature in Fire Capture, so it's gonna keep it in the middle and it won't move anywhere.
Fire Capture is really sweet. It has a lot of different features for planetary photography. I really like it. It's free, but even if it wasn't free, I think I'd still buy it because
Oh yeah.
it is such a cool program and it has everything that you need as a planetary imager. It's got you can do other stuff too, but it's really got planetary nailed. That auto align feature creates those four little dots in the corners you can see there, and they're moving around so that Jupiter doesn't have to. If the auto align was off, you would see Jupiter jumping around. But really, this is just tricking us into thinking that Corey's alignment and mount is just so awesome. It's just sitting there with Jupiter unmoving, which is not the case at all. Now we have three people in the chat.
I feel like you just like gave me a dig.
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
You,
Never. Now, how do I get to the chat here? I'm gonna be watching the chat as.
Yeah, I think you
as
have to go to the
Corey
chat on the
is.
YouTube stream itself.
Yeah.
I actually have to
So,
tweet about this because like
oh yeah.
nobody really knows we're doing this right now. I mean, I warned them earlier in the evening, but that's about it.
Let's both tweet.
Yeah.
I'll just retweet.
Sorry, I just made a massive screenshot here.
There's no link. Oh, are you going to tweet the link?
I sent you the link in what's it messaging. You should have the link.
That's all right. I will. Do it now.
Look at the screen and make a face. Sweet, we both look confused. That's perfect.
All right, that is there. If anyone is in the chat, there are a couple of people in the chat. Feel free to ask questions, and I will relay them to Corey while he fiddles in the dark. But for now, for anyone watching the replay, I just want to ask Corey, is that a moon we have going across there? And do you know which moon it is?
Okay, that is actually the shadow. That's a shadow transit of Ganymede. And you can see Ganymede just off to where the mouse pointer is on the stream. So just slightly, it's very dim, but you can see Ganymede. So we've got the GRS, we've got a shadow transit, we've got Ganymede, we've got a guy from Australia who sounds like he's a British dude who grew up in Boston.
Like you're talking about, mate.
No, you don't have to lay it on thick. Can you talk American? Do you know how to do you have a good American accent?
I don't know if it's a good American accent, but I think just as you grow up anywhere in the world, you grow up watching American TV. So
Sorry about that.
It becomes sort of second nature. And in fact, when I pick up a guitar and sing, it's basically always in an American accent because I sing the blues and it's American.
It's rough being American. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, man. Oh, crap. Okay, cool. I made a better tweet now. You can retweet if you want. It looks cooler.
Cool.
It's got a recent photo. Let's see. Let me adjust this old jupe. So Dylan and I actually have a big rivalry going on. I used to say that Saturn was my favorite planet, and he's gonna die on that hill where Jupiter is actually his favorite.
It's just no contest. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
Saturn is pretty, and it's pretty boring. You gotta admit, like, it's got weather, it's got rings, it's got the hexagon, but ultimately Jupiter is the more dynamic planet. It just has so much stuff that every time you go to image it, it's completely different. Every year on year, as the weather changes and we go through this newly understood cloud clearing weather event, as we watch the Great Red Spot shear off and disappear, there's just so much to it. The moon transits, and it's big. It's just big, and bigger is always better.
Yeah, well, I'm with you now. Actually, it just took me a little while. Yeah. I think my problem.
You'll change your tune as soon as Saturn comes back into.
No, you know what? I used to think so, but the thing is, the deal with this is, Saturn I think used to be my favorite for a really stupid reason, because it's easier to image. You can actually get nice, smooth. You can get the rings. You can get everything, and it's not really that hard. I mean, it's still difficult.
It's true. You don't have to worry about the rotation as much either.
Well, you don't have to worry about the tiny details. Like with Jupiter, it's so damn frustrating because I'm always trying to get more and more and more detail. And I mean, you've got to have perfect skies. It doesn't matter how big your telescope is. If the skies are just shaking and looking like they are right now.
That's exactly right. Now we have Sergeant Rourke in the comments. G'day, Sergeant Rourke. Good to see you here. I just want to ask, now that there's someone here, can you hear me okay? Is this too loud or is it not loud enough?
I think you can make it louder, but I'm not sure.
Bit louder? I can talk right into the mic here.
Ooh, yeah. Just put it right in your mouth. Yeah. Pretend like it's an SM58 and you're playing your banjo. Speaking of, you should play the banjo. I think that would be good.
Jeez. So as Corey images Jupiter here, I can see he's using the ZWA ASI 290mm, which has fairly large pixels, which are actually ideal for this sort of thing and the sampling, especially when you're in really long focal length like this.
The
image is
small
necessarily oversampled. So by using a camera with bigger pixels, you'll actually get better, clearer edges and things like that.
No, it's got smaller pixels actually.
Compared to the 1600mm, it's got this. The ASI 290M has about 5 micron pixels, I think.
No, 2.9.
1600 Is it 2.9? Is it?
Yeah, no, this is
Oh,
a
that's
planet.
quite
It's a
small.
planetary camera. It's super tiny.
Right. That is very tiny. That's
Yeah,
very, and this oversampling issue with planetary. I mean, if you do the maths, it is going to be oversampled.
yeah,
But that's sort of okay because it's sort of what we're going for. And when we drizzle and when we sharpen later and when we use wavelets, we we basically compensate for that. It's not going to be like deep space photography where you just take one image and every line and every curve is nice and clear.
yeah.
It's a different beast entirely.
So I'm on here. I switched over to green. I'm trying to see if I can find focus a little better through this scene. The atmosphere actually was predicted to be pretty poor, but I wanted to try anyway because these the astronomical seeing apps and everything have been. I don't know. I don't trust the accuracy of them. So.
Right. Thank you, Sergeant Rourke, for the feedback. I hope my mic is louder now. The mic has been used recently to do drum lessons for my kid via Zoom. So you just got to turn it down, otherwise it clips the audio.
Oh, that's awesome though. Drum lessons through the. Okay, I'm finding focus now. This is a little bit better. It's just. Okay. I've been doing another new thing recently, which from an imaging standpoint is kind of a no-no, but for planetary, I'm finding it's actually good. I focus while it's acquiring. So I'll change focus for every color.
Why?
Because even though these filters are really good filters. They're, what's the make? I forgot. Astrodon, E-Series Gen 2, True Balance, Parfocal, everything, IR cut, UV cut. They're supposed to be these, and they are good, but the thing is you still have got like mechanical issues inside the filter wheel where they're not perfect, right? They're not perfectly the same distance from the sensor.
Yeah. So there's a slight different variation between wavelengths as well to where perfect focus is going to be between the redshift and the light and that sort of thing.
With the Parfocal filters, that's supposed to be taken care of in the filter. But I mean, it's still physics you're dealing with. So how perfectly accurate are you going to be able to get with a consumer product like that? So
that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've been like focusing and refocusing for every single filter, and then I derotate every single RGB frame now. So I will.
And I think that's good practice. Whatever sort of astronomy you're doing is focus often and regularly. Focus before every filter, and if possible, collimate before every session as well. Because there's nothing worse than getting to the end of the night and having gigabytes of data and then going through it and just realizing that one little thing was slightly off. It kind of ruins the whole night for me.
Yeah,
But that's looking much more in focus now. I can see that shadow a bit more clearly.
Yeah.
And the great red spot coming. What filter are we on now?
This is on green. Green is a good one to focus on to begin with, just because red is always the best. It's always easy to get red in focus. Blue is almost impossible to focus. Oh, we got Marlon from Mexico. Hello, how's it going, Marlon? He's been on a few of these. I recognize the name. He, she. I actually don't know. I don't know why I say that. I just assume like the average astronomer is like an old dude, but that's not necessarily the case at all.
Well, I think if you check your YouTube analytics, you'll find that really is the case.
Shh. Oh crap! I need
G'day,
to.
Melvin Davis. He is a local.
I need to send a message to my imaging friend over in the city next to me and tell him that seeing is fair.
And hello to Prima946. Good to see you in the chat. We are looking live at Jupiter right now with a shadow transit of Ganymede. We can see that compared to last year, we're seeing the equatorial belts a bit more clearly now. Last year we had a cloud clearing event, which is a fairly recently understood phenomenon where in cycles, I think it's 7 years, although you'll have to check that, we do see the surface get a little bit more homogeneous. It sort of clears out a bit, which is really, really weird. But the belts have come back, and if you've been looking at Corey's images lately, you can see them quite clearly. Well, I have noticed in Christopher Go's recent images of Jupiter that we are still seeing some, for want of a better word, turbulence in the Great Red Spot.
Yeah.
It does seem to be mixing between the red, the inner red, and the outer white. That seems to be crossing over a little bit. So it's still something we need to keep an eye on if we can. As people flood into the chat here, hello from Florida, from Keith and
we got old dude David Bill.
Old dude.
Okay, so the funny we can make fun of David Bill because he's a friend of mine, a colleague I worked with for about 10 years up until recently. Now he's just an old dude that I know. But he's the man with two first names, Dave Bill. I'm gonna make fun of him. Love you, Dave. Love you, Dave.
Any friend of yours, Corey, is immediately suspect.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, don't call yourself my friend unless you want to be. I'm gonna put this on Instagram as well. Let's see, live now. I always say live now, like in profile, and then forget to update the link.
Now, while you're doing that, I just wanted to tell the audience a little bit about the equipment that you're using. I believe you're using a 12-inch Newtonian. Is that correct?
Correct, and it's pictured on the stream right now, so you can see the scope cam.
Cool. So I just as of yesterday, the news for me is that I just bought a C11 Edge HDs, which I'm really looking forward to. So what's the focal length we're looking at right now? You've got a PowerMate or something in there.
Yeah, there's a 2.5x PowerMate. It is, according to Fire Capture, we're right around 5,750 millimeters. So
5,000.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Kind of long. Yeah, it's it's running right now. It's F. I don't know why, and it kind of makes sense. But some of the planetary imagers, it's like maybe it's a tradition. I'm not sure, but maybe you know the answer. It's running at f20. So a lot of guys will say, hey, I'm imaging and I was shooting at f20. It's like, well, who cares? What was the focal length? That's what I want to know. But
for planetary, the planets are so bright that the speed doesn't really make much of a difference anyway. I mean, we can see that your exposure is like 13 milliseconds right now.
Well, you can see
tell us a little bit about that gain and exposure. Actually, what is your process when you go through there? I often pull everything right down and to the left, and then slowly nudge it up to make sure that I'm getting the fastest possible exposure time with the most reasonable amount of gain. But there is an argument for pumping the gain right up as well, because we are stacking these images, so a lot of that noise, that random noise, will disappear. Do you ever push the gain right up just for the sake of the photo?
I am now. So I'm at 347, which is actually a little bit higher than Unity gain on this camera. And basically, well, for one, I kind of have to when I use the PowerMate, because when you're shooting at f20, even though the planets are bright, it's still not bright enough, to really drop that gain down. If I was shooting the moon, my gain would be down to like maybe 20. It would be much, much, much better. And the seeing is actually much better now. This is looking pretty good. Even though it may not look great, to everyone else, this is about as good as it gets.
Is Jupiter high enough in the sky right now, or are we still?
Yeah, I checked the angle of the telescope on the screen.
Of course.
Yeah, it's
not quite zenith, but getting there.
It will get up there to about 85 degrees in a bit, and we'll have to shoot past zenith. So basically, with the gain settings, I've been. Hold on a second, I'm going to do this. I've been moving some stuff around, changing my whole procedure. I've been shooting planetary since about 2012, but not seriously. Just kind of like, oh, hey, I can shoot a planet, with my whatever camera I'm using at the moment, and it's been fun. But I'm trying to get serious about it now, because it's one of those parts of astrophotography that I never got good enough at to, I don't know, even be proud of an image, like, ever.
And there's so many little things to get right along the way.
I'm
And
telling you, yeah.
you have to get all of those things right, but then you also have to get good seeing at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you keep taking frames throughout the night, you might end up with 30 different shots of Jupiter, but one of those shots will just be crisp compared to the others, and it's that one that you choose to share around. And then you shoot Jupiter like that all the way through the season, you end up with hundreds of shots of Jupiter, but one of those will also stand out from the group of images as well.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, yeah, with this is this season, like, because I'm taking it seriously, I'm changing so many parts of my procedure. Part of that is, I've always been afraid of pumping the gain. I've always been saying, well, okay, and then let's try and cut through the seeing and do as many exposures as we can. So I used to shoot at 180 frames per second, which is the limit of my camera. Or sometimes I'd be shooting at 200 frames per second. And that's actually the pros, like Christopher Go and those guys. They've been apparently moving to a little bit longer exposures, but pumping the gain. So,
yes.
Okay, fine. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm shooting, I aim for about 75 frames per second, which is sort of meaningless, but right now I'm at 13 milliseconds. Before I was shooting at 4 or 5 milliseconds. So I've more than doubled my exposure time just to try and get a little bit smoother image. And the thing is, the images that I've been able to create this season have been better than anything I've ever done. So it's not just that; it's a lot of little things. I've always also allowed the filters to, like, I believed that the filters are parafocal and that I don't have to focus in between. But the thing is, you just do. Like, I watched a live imaging session with Christopher Go, and this procedure is far more automated than his. And he's like one of the top 2 planetary imagers in the world. So like, I've got a more automated and more, like, I can just sit here in my office and like image like this, click stuff, and he's out there and he's got a manual focuser and he's watching, he's focusing the constant, and it's just like, it's so I'm like, okay, well, apparently, what I was doing before was a bit, not that, his way is the only way, but the thing is, you kind of have to watch the greats and
oh, definitely.
And if you want to get good at something, find someone who's better at it and copy them. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So
those guys are great, and Christopher Go is not afraid to share all of this stuff, which I find really really admirable as well.
There's some really, if anybody's really interested in that, check out the most recent NEAF videos. There are 3 videos. They're each maybe 2 hours long each. One of them is a live imaging session of him at his house in the Philippines. And one of them is his basics, like the planetary imaging basics, which is really important to watch. And that's where I learned a lot of the stuff that I did. And then also there's a planetary processing video that it's long and it's difficult to, it's just like everything. There's like you said, there's so many little tiny things to get right, and if you don't get it right, you just don't have a good image. So
yeah. Now I don't have too much more time, so I just want to hit on a few key points with Jupiter, Corey, while you image there.
Cool.
We still have a number of people in the chat. It's really good to see you guys.
There. Spout some questions in there as well.
Makes it special. Jupiter is a planet that our understanding of has grown considerably in the last couple of years because of the Juno mission. Before then, we've had flybys like with the Voyager flyby, and they were great, but Juno has really basically unraveled and unpeeled Jupiter in ways that we haven't ever seen before. Before I nerd out on Jupiter, I do need to ask: Has this sort of stuff already been hit on by Fraser and other guests that you've had on the stream?
Not that I care about. Go ahead, keep going, man. No, I mean, we had a long chat with Jason Major, but his side of things was more of the, he's the imager, he's the graphic designer who who's got a lot of scientific knowledge, but we didn't really talk too much about that. But I don't mind reiterating. I mean, come on.
Okay, well, basics. The belts that we're seeing here, you've got dark belts and light belts. You can think of those as, when you have a cup of coffee and you pour the milk in, and then the milk just makes this cool swirling effect where it's sort of coming up and down with this convection pattern. That's exactly what's happening here in Jupiter's atmosphere. The dark patches are where the milk is flowing downwards, and the white is where stuff is bubbling up. So we have this constant convection pattern in horizontal bands across the equator. All of this, of course, is brought into shape by the gravitational pull and the magnetosphere of Jupiter, both of which we've discovered with Juno are very lopsided. And that's not uncommon. We have a lopsided magnetosphere as well, and we have lopsided gravity all over Earth. But you can imagine that that effect is magnified quite largely on Jupiter. Another thing that we discovered about Jupiter with Juno was metallic hydrogen, and I don't know that there are very many examples of metallic hydrogen. Now, us astronomers, we like to think of all the atoms in the universe as metals. Everything is a metal. But even astronomers for a long time would go, everything's a metal except hydrogen, because we just don't experience hydrogen as anything else but a gas. But hydrogen, like everything else, and like everything else on the periodic table, everything is a metal. And we think of things here on Earth as solid, liquid, gas. And we're looking at a big ball of gas right now. But they're not the only states. Of course, there's fire, for example, which is the transition between one state and another, like when we're burning wood and it turns from a solid into a gas. Then there's plasma on the sun, which is another state. But there is yet another state on Jupiter, and this is the transition point between gas and liquid. When liquid or gas is so dense, like it is on Jupiter, there is a state called supercritical. Have you ever seen a video about supercritical fluid on YouTube?
Do you have one?
No, just have you ever seen supercritical fluids? It's amazing, man. So
I've never even heard of supercritical fluid.
Supercritical, it's a different type of state. So if I put my hand over the camera here, and we can assume that everything down here is like a liquid, bubbling away, boiling under temperature or density. If you push it down far enough and it gets really dense, this little line here where you see the surface of the water, it just sort of starts to disappear. And all of a sudden, everything in the vessel is neither a gas or a liquid. It's just this supercritical state. And every atom has a supercritical state. And what we believe with Jupiter, if in your childhood imagination, if you are flying down through the clouds, we know now with Jupiter that those clouds go for a long, long, long time. Of course, you're never going to hit land. There's no terrestrial land down there. But there is a point where you reach metallic hydrogen. And that metallic hydrogen is a sea. It is like a liquid metal, like the Terminator, right? Like the
Terminator 2.
The
yeah, the second. Yeah, oh man, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a metallic hydrogen core of liquid metal down there. But before you get to that sea of metallic hydrogen, there's a supercritical layer in there somewhere. So at that point, you can't really tell if you're flying through the air or swimming through the liquid. There's no barrier. It's not like the surface of the ocean where it's clearly obvious whether you're in the ocean or not. And that's where it's a really strange kind of state. And I do encourage you to get on YouTube and do a search for supercritical fluids, because there's some excellent demonstrations of people showing you the state change, showing it a liquid just, it seems to disappear all of a sudden. And when they let the pressure back in, the interface comes back again.
That's
so
insane.
Supercritical, it's a very good thing to understand if you want to understand what it's like on Jupiter's atmosphere.
And so how far down is that supercritical state again? Do we know?
I don't know, but I don't know the exact number, but what we know now is it's much further down than we thought it was before Juno came and
So
and
12.
peered through the layers.
12 then. Sounds good.
Insert
the unit of your
what is
choice.
the chemistry of the layers that make them different colors? I'm not sure of the chemistry. I'm not sure if that's even temperature, but I think it's the directional flow of the convection that is causing that color change. So it could definitely be temperature.
There's also there's quite a bit of the methane band imaging going on. That's what they want to know in the planetary science. You know, that they're really looking for the methane band stuff. So, and that's definitely a chemistry thing. So,
yeah, once we go out past a certain point, where there are terrestrial planets, we get a lot of methane on various planets. There's not as much methane on Jupiter as there is on Neptune and Uranus. And I have to remind you, Uranus is full of methane.
Yeah,
and that's why it's blue.
Yeah, blue. Burn it. Somebody light it. He went there. I love it. No, I actually started a thread on Twitter a while back about we got to do Uranus jokes because I'm not over them. I'll never be over them. I don't care.
It's Uranus is funny. I don't care what anyone says.
It's true.
I like watching people squirm in conferences, like really professional people, like trying to say, "Oh, Uranus," and they know it's funny.
Yeah.
They're just they're trying to make sure nobody notices.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. There we go. I don't care. We're gonna do it. In the comments, put your best Uranus joke.
Uranus.
Put your Uranus joke on the chat, and if it's good, I'll say it. So yeah, with the chemistry, I could actually. There's a friend of mine here that I messaged just as I started imaging, and he's a retired chemical engineer. And all of a sudden, I don't know how, because I don't know his history with it, but when he retired, he got into imaging like hardcore. He does it every single day. His name is Clyde Foster, and if you look at all the planetary databases, he's got images almost every single day of Jupiter.
Right.
And oddly enough, he lives like 40 kilometers away from me. So we've been chatting almost every day and like and he's been giving me a lot of tips and just kind of just things that I can change. Anyway, so he's really into the chemistry. So he does the methane band every day. He doesn't even care about social media, putting images out there. It's great. He only shoots for science. He's like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. If it's a good one, he'll throw it on Facebook, but that's it. Like, he's just like, all I want to do is get it out there for the scientists. And so I should actually chat with him about the chemistry, maybe have him on, if I can get him on camera, maybe he'll chat with me about that. But, because it is interesting,
Definitely.
you know. Did I capture Loom? I think I did. I'm trying to figure out if I did or not. Anyway, I'll go back to red. I don't care. I haven't been using luminance that often anymore. I've been more doing straight RGB.
Do you use IR a bit lately, though? I've noticed.
I do. I use well. It's because like when the seeing is like this, infrared is almost always better. So so I'll switch to IR if it's really bad. It's actually not too bad right now. You can see kind of the outline of this is in red. You can see the outline of that GRS right here. And then, so yeah, this dot is the shadow. It's cool. I like it when it gets to the edge like this. This is the Ganymede
definitely.
shadow, and then this is Ganymede here. But yeah, when the seeing conditions are good, you can see so much more. So
now, I must apologize. I have to get back to work. It's been a really lovely opportunity to stream with you, Corey. I know that you're going to continue taking these amazing images and posting them for us every day, a bit of Jupiter spam.
I'll do my best, you know. Somebody needs to, you know what I need is I need an intern he'll take all my stacks and just process them into images, because I've got data from days ago, from a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that I just haven't processed yet because I don't have time. It's that job thing.
Good. There'll be a cloudy day at some point.
Yeah. No, it's the job thing. It's the day job. Just like you've got to go.
Yeah, that's right.
when the sun comes up.
Work and cook some food on my family.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Corey.
Cool, man. Thank you for coming.
And have a good night, everyone.
Okay, I'm gonna stay live. Dylan's gone. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that, Dylan's gone. So thanks, Dylan, for that. Let's see if I can pop this thing back in. Why is this unable to connect? That's strange. So I'll leave the chat up here. We're gonna keep the stream going for as long as you all want to watch. I'm gonna shoot until the sun comes up, or try to at least see if I can get some decent stuff. This is still going. Okay, cool. We can close Zoom now. So yeah, that was cool of Dylan. Super cool of Dylan to pop in and chat and you know, give us his insights on things. Nice of him to be that guy. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and image Jupiter as this GRS kind of pops back in to view. I need to refocus on red here. Feel free to stick around, ask me questions, do whatever I can. I'll answer what I can. If you want to talk about imaging, we can do that more so than the science. That'd be cool. This is tough getting this red in here. It's funny. So yesterday we had clouds, but I shot through the clouds, and I haven't yet. I've actually got an image, a color image from yesterday that I haven't yet shared. So I'll pop it on the screen now because finding focus is difficult. This is a pain. I want to shoot it anyway, but it's so fuzzy. And it would just be a waste of hard drive space if I do that. So basically, I'll show you an image that I did yesterday in the clouds. Yeah, he was behaving himself. I think it's because he was in his work mode. He was busy. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Nice to see you, man. So yeah, I think he must have been in work mode or something, which kind of sucks because it's more fun when he's naughty. Okay, so I'm gonna pop an image up on the screen that is from yesterday when I was shooting through the clouds. Super surprised. I actually had one decent run of RGB to make a color, and when I say decent, it's okay. It wasn't perfect, but it turned out to be a pretty good image. I haven't shared this on social media yet, or I haven't even been able to upload it to any of the science websites yet because actually the website where I upload was down. But this was the image that I was able to create through the clouds yesterday. And I was super happy about being able to do that. I don't know how that worked so well because I mean those clouds were just rough. But anyway, that image, it actually did work out. So there it is. You can see, I mean, I didn't oversaturate it too much. You can see there's this blue popping through. Tried to keep it natural, and yeah, I mean the detail was hard. I derotated every single frame, but yeah. So that was that yesterday. Let's see if we can make something happen today. Let's just see. Now I need to recenter this a little bit, get those dots into view. Okay, so there's that. All right, now if I can find focus, we'll actually shoot. Yeah, Dylan was totally behaving himself. It was pretty weak. Chris, yeah, 3 a.m. and you're imaging M27. Excellent. Excellent. M27 is one of those that I can't image from here, I don't think. Yeah, the seeing is really bad. Oh my goodness. This atmosphere, it's really hard to find focus. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and I'm just gonna shoot anyway, see how bad this is. Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, it actually turned out I was pretty impressed. Oh, and the other one from while that's shooting, I'll show. Let's see. Yeah, we had Jupiter and Io. So this was actually a reference frame that I shot with Io and Jupiter in, and then you can see the GRS just popping through. And this is in infrared. Yeah, the detail was pretty nice on that one. I shot a reference frame so that when I derotate, it lines up perfectly, and so that way I actually get the detail better rather than worse in WinJuPos. So this one also turned out pretty good. Not that unhappy, to be honest. Let's see. And this, however, is a little rough. Let's switch back over to green. Did I click it? No. I saw I overexposed the bands before. So, do you guys want to see this while I image this? I mean, it's cluttering on the screen. I don't want to make it too busy, but I guess all you really care about is the planet. So, I mean, I can put more controls on here so you can see everything I'm clicking and doing, I suppose. I need the focuser in there, though. Can I move that? No, I can't. Anyway, I need to focus and get this in. Try and get green in so that I can actually shoot something on the green filter. I mean, yeah, I guess you guys don't need to see the ephemerides. There, I'll put that there. I can almost see stuff in green. I really would love one of these days to get a nice, sharp green and blue. And it just almost, it's so rare for that to happen. Green and blue especially. Green, sometimes you get. Blue, almost never. I've never seen a blue that I've been happy with. So I'm just focusing so that I can actually get a decent shot of green. It's difficult. One of these days, I promise, we will get good seeing. Just keep watching the stream. There's the stream of consciousness coming out. Well, I can see a little bit of contrast in the cloud, so I'm just going to have to say this is the best this particular one is going to do, so we'll watch that. Make sure this thing stays centered. And the backlash is really fighting me. So yeah, in addition to the auto align feature, which is those four red dots that are generally visible. There they are. That keeps it in the same spot on the sensor. This white box around here is called the clipping box, and that basically that's the only thing that the camera is recording. That's not the full field of view. That's just to keep the file size small, because I don't need to capture the whole frame. I only want to capture inside here. So that way it increases my available frame rate, decreases the file size, and everything is better. Life is just better. So let's see. So there's that. Now I'm going to switch over to blue, and we're going to see how bad blue looks. Sorry about seem to have be dry today. Let's see here. Do we have? Oh, we do have some. Hang on, I'll answer some questions here as soon as I get blue in some sort of focus. So what I'm looking for now is a little bit of contrast between the GRS here and the cloud band, the SEB, Southern Equatorial Belt cloud band on top of it. If I can see just a little tiny gap every once in a while, then I'm gonna be kind of happy enough with that blue focus. And I can sort of see it popping in every once in a while. This is just going to be yet another battle. So this is why we live stream, I suppose, because then we can just chat. I don't have to worry about the image so much. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and shoot it because we can't have too big of a gap between the filters. So what have we got? You're lazy compared to your OST camera. One day you'll be that dedicated. Yeah, that's the thing. I wish I had a one-shot color camera. OSC stands for one-shot color, for those people that don't know. So if someone talks about an OSC cam, then they're talking about one-shot color. And basically what that means is just a normal camera. It's what everybody thinks of when they think of a camera. The camera I'm using does not have any color in it. There's no, there's something called a Bayer filter that goes over the top of a camera sensor and has 4 different little lenses kind of in front of each pixel, and it's R, G, G, and B usually is the pattern. So 2 greens, a red, and a blue, and then the camera inside uses that to create a color image. And that's what a one-shot color camera does. Okay, so we got blue. Let's switch over to luminance and just see if we can get something here. Because if you can get a good luminance frame, a tip, yeah, you can actually use that to sharpen the hell out of the image. The luminance it's not so important if your RGBs are nice and sharp, but you can basically you can get basic color information out of RGB that's not even really that nice if you have a nice sharp luminance layer, luminance channel. And that's probably just not going to happen tonight, but I'm going to shoot it anyway, just in case I get those few good frames. You never know, especially because everything's kind of bad, so whatever I can do to possibly help. So you can see here also my histograms. I'm keeping them pretty high, right in there. I like to be in between 90 and 95%, maybe 85%. Yesterday in the clouds, I was shooting a little bit lower just because it was kind of popping in and out of the actual brightness was changing of the planet. So there was that. Let's see what else. Oh, Prima 946, Tian, how's it going? CPWI. So what he's talking about with CPWI, that is Celestron's software that they teamed up with PlaneWave, I believe, to make mount control software. So I'm using the CPWI mount control, which is this little control panel here for slewing the telescope. So I move the telescope around manually with these in declination and RA. I'm gonna switch back to red now. Yeah, red always just looks better. So does infrared. And then also it's got, so CPWI has got, it looks a little bit like this. You can connect to the mount. You can basically, once you have it aligned, if you align it, so right now we're on Jupiter, as we see. It knows that we're pointed at Jupiter, so I can use this and sit inside and control the scope from elsewhere, which is nice. So there's that. And it does work really well, I found. So I've got to kind of jostle this around so I don't lose my panels. Let's get this in focus and shoot again, because as I learned yesterday, if I get one decent color run, maybe I can salvage an image for the evening. And if it's nice enough, I might even post it on my Twitter feed or Instagram. So I'm focusing, you maybe can see yeah, you can see it down there. Just changing little tiny bits, trying to wait and see if it turns good or evil. That's about as good as we're gonna get. So we're gonna shoot again. And you can see here, so this is like the state of my hard drive. I've got 132 gigabytes left. You can just see that go down constantly. And then this is the number of frames captured, number of frames saved. So frame drop, frames per second, the time of capture, and how big the file is. So these files are big. Even though they're small, I mean, this is basically raw pixel data. We're capturing very, very raw data. How's it going, Lestain? Sorry, I don't know how to say your name. This is my thing. It's like I try and pronounce people's names and creator names and all kinds of stuff, and I screw it up. But I'm gonna call you Lestain unless you say it different. It's going well. Thank you. Do you like the red lights, guys, on the scope? I don't use an external drive. Bill asks if I use an external hard drive during imaging, and the answer is no, I do not, because I'm writing so fast that I don't trust that transfer rate to be fast enough, so I use an internal SSD. And switching to an SSD actually helped a lot in the past, because the SSD write speeds are so much faster than spinning drive. So I switched to green. I'm gonna try and get a decent focus on green if I can. I do use external drives after the fact because I'll fill up my hard drive on a good night of shooting. If things are good and I'm shooting like crazy, I'll shoot 150 gigabytes and then I'll have to copy stuff off if I want to shoot more. And yeah, so I'll use an external drive after the fact, but not during shooting. I'd like to, but I just don't trust the speed. Plus, the other thing is the camera is connected to the computer on USB 3, and I don't want to overload the USB 3 bus because the most important thing is the camera. I need to have that send the data as cleanly and as quickly as possible. So I'm not going to throw a bunch of crap on the computer. Hard drive speed, CPU speed, all of that really does, believe it or not, matter quite a bit with planetary imaging. You're capturing quite a bit pretty fast. I could probably, at this transfer rate, I could probably deal with an external drive, but it might be pushing the limit. Oh, Justin, but Welsh. Oh, I want to say it in Welsh. I want to say it correctly, Marlon MC says he has an economic monochrome camera. Do you recommend a cheap RGB filter or a good one? As long as you use imaging RGB, that's the difference. So there is a big difference between visual RGB filters and imaging RGB filters. When I started this, I made that mistake. I just, was like, oh, hey, I can do planetary imaging in color with my monochrome camera because I've got these, cheap visual RGB filters that actually look, red, green, blue too, when you just look at the glass. But the thing is, those are not the same as as imaging filters. They're slightly different. So you need to get a good set of actual imaging filters. And the Orion ones are fine. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get pretty decent results with a monochrome camera. Obviously, the better filters you get, the better quality you're gonna get. But no, you don't have to spend a lot. But anyway, yeah, make sure you get imaging filters. Because they will work much better. And you only really need, for planets, you only need the 1 1/4 inch filters. You don't need to get expensive 2-inch filters for that. So, but one thing that you do need to make sure of is that if you want to get decent quality in your images, my friend Clyde has enlightened me to the fact, and I've been realizing that I've been lucky. The filters I use also, they cut off the infrared and they cut off the UV. So you need to make sure you've got UV and IR cut on your filters because otherwise it's going to muddy up the image. And with planetary, the resolution is so much higher. The pixels are so much smaller than that of a deep sky image that you need to worry about, that every single pixel matters. So, the higher quality glass you can get, the better. It really matters more. I've said it recently on the stream, but I'll say it again. I think, planetary it's more frustrating. I think it's harder to do. It's more difficult, I think, than deep sky, just because. I mean, I've done it all. This is not Saturn. This is Jupiter. And this is like, it's a pain. It's a pain. You got to really want to do planetary imaging. I think it's a real game, because most nights you're going to get garbage, or you're going to have to try really hard to get something decent out. So yeah, the thing is, it's fun, like capturing an image of a planet. I love it. Just watching these things, and they're changing as we're looking at it. That's what I think gets me. It's like right now, the GRS is right in the middle of the planet and moving over to the right, and you're gonna be able to watch that thing as it pops through. I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. We've got about 2 more hours of of night before daylight, and it's so bad tonight. I'm not even gonna bother shooting luminance. There's no point. It's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna go back to red. I'm only gonna shoot RGB. I've got mark that down in my notebook. New procedure for shooting. Only shoot luminance when the skies are super nice, unless I can get it dialed, because if you can't get it dialed in, there's no point, because you're just gonna throw away that frame. Case in point, yesterday I shot RGB and luminance. I found one good run out of the few that I did through the clouds. I did one stack of RGB-L with luminance and one stack of RGB alone. The RGB alone looked better than the L, so I left it that way. I also did a stack, and I'm not going to use it because the scientists actually don't like it, apparently, because it's not it's not the natural look of the planet. But I stacked one where I used the red channel as luminance, and that actually looks sharper, but it doesn't matter because it's not technically correct, even though it looks nice. It's nice and sharp, but it's not right. So I'm not going to use that one. Sorry, I'm trying to get this red in. I don't know why I'm trying so hard. I'll just let it go. Answer some questions here. Nice, Roberto from Melbourne, Australia. Thank you very much. I will do so. Thank you for telling me it's great work. I don't know if it's great work or not, but I appreciate the comments. Keith says he has a CGX mount, the big one. You operate from inside the house after powering up. Just like me, I'm sitting in my study right now, imaging remotely. Got a screen share on my telescope outside, and yeah, so that's, obviously that's why I've got a camera on there, so I can see the scope and make sure, monitor it and everything. Yeah, so after powering up, you load a previously saved set of alignment points. Is there a way to automatically use the previous alignment and save it before power down? That's what I would also like to know. I just started using CPWI recently, very recently. Like, geez, I think this might be my 5th or 6th imaging session using it, and I do like it a lot. The one thing that I wish you could do, and it's not like I could do it before, but it's one thing that I'd like to do. It seems like seeing has gotten, just as I say that, it jumps. I would like to not spend time aligning, and if I'm sitting outside by the telescope, I actually don't need to align. I don't ever align at all if I'm out sitting next to the telescope. But when I'm inside, I want to be able to control the scope and say, if I want to move to Saturn, I'll move to Saturn and do it that way. So I will align, and it wastes about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so just kind of moving around, because usually I'm tired when I do it. It's the first thing I do after I wake up from my little pre-astrophotography nap. And yeah, it would be nice if I could just say, oh, cool, yeah, I aligned before. I mean, what you might be able to do is like stop the scope or park it and then load it. I know you can save a model, a pointing model. I don't know how well that works. Maybe it works great. See, I just haven't had a chance to test it. What I want to do is I want to save the pointing model, and then I want to say, okay, cool, I'm at this particular object, load the pointing model. It should know. I mean, the math should tell us, exactly where, where if you point the mount at a star and you say, I'm pointed at that star, and you center the star in the viewfinder and say, okay, cool, that star is centered. If you then load a pointing model from a previous night, technically all the math is there. Everything it needs to know is there, so it should be able to do it. Whether the software is built to do it, that is a different story, because it is free. However, we did pay good money for these mounts, so it'd be nice if they had that ability to make our lives easier. I'm a huge proponent of doing everything manually when you're starting. Do not use the software. Do not use the automation features. Do not use anything fancy. So if anybody out there does not have a telescope and you're watching and you're trying to figure out like, oh, hey, I want to get a telescope. What do I get? Oh man, do I need a computer? Do I need to get, what kind of camera do I need to get? I say, if you don't have a telescope and you've never done it before, don't get all those things. Get a inexpensive Dobsonian telescope, or even a set of binoculars. Don't spend a ton of money, and start doing everything manually. Learn the skies, because the best thing you're going to be able to teach yourself is where stuff is in space. And the only way to do that is to do it manually. If you're just looking at a star chart, clicking on the button, like, oh, neat, show me that nebula or show me that planet, you're not really going to know where it is or how to find it. So yeah, please let me know. Please let me know if you find out that stuff. Have I gone to Saturn this evening? I have not gone to Saturn this evening. I will probably go to Saturn I don't know, in a little bit. I wanna get some data on the Great Red Spot here while it's in the middle, because it's very well placed. So I'll keep capturing on this, but I can move to Saturn in a little while. And definitely do that. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, let me know. You have to work inside due to mosquitoes. I don't have to work inside. It's just nicer if you can do it. Yang Zong says the atmosphere is shaking so much that the stripes on Jupiter's surface are not clear. You are correct. That is the case. It is a bit annoying. Did I capture green? I think so. Let's say I did. I could look. Um, okay, I'll look just to see. Sorry about this silly window. Let's get that out of there. Oh, dang it. Okay. Find my files. That out of the way. I did shoot green. Okay, well, that's good to know. Now we're on blue. We're gonna try blue. Blue is rough, as usual. Clyde, my buddy Clyde, pops in to say you could see a bit of detail in red. Green doesn't look good. Yeah, I suppose that's the story of the week. It seems we had a good run of really nice skies last week, and now we're getting nasty here. And if green doesn't look good, you can be darn sure blue is not going to look good. But still got to kind of shoot them. So maybe I should switch to infrared if it's going to be this nasty. I'm gonna actually, because it'll look, it won't look as cool on the feed, but I'll be able to capture some decent data on here. Wow, this is rough. I just want to finish this one color run, and then I'm going to switch to infrared. If I can find some semblance of focus on blue. It seems the predictions were correct, and seeing is quite poor. Ooh. We may have just found a bit. I'm going to shoot through this garbage because I'm seeing slight bits of decentness in between. So at 13 milliseconds, maybe we'll catch something here. You are welcome. Have a wonderful day. I will. Thank you. Be safe, you too. Hope everybody out there is doing their part for the world right now and staying home, okay? Well, don't go out if you don't have to. Depending on where you are, I guess, but, be safe, be smart. It's not about you, it's about everybody else. So anyway, that's all I'll say about that for now. We'll keep it on the planets here. After this blue is done, I'm gonna ditch the color and we're gonna switch over to infrared, because when it's bad like this, we're just gonna shoot infrared. And there's IR. And the thing with infrared is it's actually quite a bit different focus point than the other colors. So I'm gonna have to spend some time dialing this in, but maybe it'll look nice. Yep, and the closer we get to focus, the better it's obviously looking, but the GRS is very light. This is the great red spot in the infrared filter, and that's why you see this red color. So okay, I think I kind of found our exit point there. It was better over here. let's see. So with infrared, I shoot about 2 minutes. I shoot a 2-minute exposure because the general rule of thumb for Jupiter is if you shoot 2 minutes, then you will be okay with rotation. Anything longer than around 2 minutes or so, maybe even 90 seconds. But 2 minutes seems to be okay for me for all my infrared. So I'm going to stick with that. But if you shoot any longer than 2 minutes, you will run into actual rotation issues. Jupiter rotates very fast. It rotates one full rotation on Jupiter. So 1 day on Jupiter is only like 10 hours. Okay. And you can imagine, I mean, Jupiter is huge. So the outside edge of the planet, if it does a full rotation in 10 hours, is going to be insane. So you have to deal with rotation blur, actually. Imagine dealing with, actual rotation blur in something in space like that's this far away. But you do, so you shoot 2 minutes max, and then deal with that. Man, even IR isn't looking that great, but this is actually, not that horrible. I'm going to decrease the gain a little bit. So I'm at about 80%, let's keep it at 85-ish percent gain here. It was nice to have Dylan in earlier in the feed. So if you joined late and you want to hear a little bit of the science about Jupiter and stuff that Dylan knows, you can go back. I'm going to go ahead and shoot. So with infrared, I'm actually just going to shoot a whole bunch in a row. And then I will, since it's only one color, I'll just shoot in a row and then make sure that it stays in focus. And I will derotate that with a software called WinJupus, which actually compensates for the rotation of the planet and combines them into a final image for me based on the information that I tell it about, when it was recorded, and after aligning it, the actual image itself. So we've got questions. Yes, infrared, thumbs up. Definitely, infrared is cool. It just works. Infrared just works. It's kind of, it feels lazy because it's only the one color, and it always tends to work out. But that's the story. I need to shoot a full rotation of Jupiter sometime. Manage 6 out of 10 hours. I think my biggest rotation was 7 hours. Not to one up you by an hour, but I'm pretty sure it's 7 hours. Long ago. Geez, 2012 maybe. I think it's either 5 hours or 7 hours. I'm gonna have to go back in my YouTube and see, because I'm pretty sure I did a WinJupus rotation animation of Jupiter. Maybe it was 10 hours. I don't even remember. Anyway, it was a long, long thing. I don't know how many nights I did it over. Now I need to go back and find it. Hey, Shaw! Shaw, what's up, buddy? How you doing, Shaw? Nice to see you, man. So yeah, I've got one of those longer rotation animations somewhere in my YouTube. I'll have to find it. See if I can find it. It's old though, and it was done with my Dob and a DSLR so I still have that DSLR. It's a 550D Canon. Okay, this is okay. I'm gonna fiddle. Okay, yeah. It was a 550D DSLR that I used on a 10-inch Zoomel. Dobsonian. Zoomel is just the make of another GSO. So Gensheng Optical, I think. They make like a lot of mirrors, and Skywatcher, Orion use their mirrors, and then they sell GSO. So that's a GSO. That's what I've got here. This is a GSO RC. And then Zoomel also uses GSO glass. Honestly, it's good stuff. It's mass produced, but they do good. It's mass produced stuff. It's not the perfect hand ground glass, but it actually works quite nice. So, um, yeah, this is looking. It's okay. It would be so much better if it was better. Let's see. What do we say? So my buddy Sharin Ahmad, how you doing, Malaysia? You doing okay there? Marlon says I bought a very cheap go-to refractor and then a 102 Mac. Can't take the big red spot, but only need more. Yeah, it just takes practice, man. With the 102 Mac, you will be able to make it out with good seeing. But the thing is, and this is what I've learned, especially this season, and after last night, I accidentally did a star test. There's always that moment where you're like, oh man, is my collimation any good? Am I as good as I can be as far as the things that you can control? But so it's nice to have that where what you've done. But last night I was able to verify my collimation with a star test. Accidentally using the Moon IO, and I'll show you the image now. I need to verify for mirror pinch, but anyway, so if you have your collimation in and your focus is as good as it can get, you are a slave to the atmosphere. If the atmosphere doesn't play along, it doesn't matter how big your telescope is. It doesn't matter how many frames per second you're capturing. It doesn't matter how good your equipment is. If the atmosphere isn't playing along, it's a game over. Don't even try. Like it just doesn't matter. So again, for people who are just joining, we're watching Jupiter in infrared while I take some nice pictures of it. This is the great red spot there. Can we see Ganymede? Yes. This is the moon Ganymede. I've been hiding Ganymede this whole time. Sorry about that. Let's see, I'll just kind of slip this in there so you can see Ganymede slowly start to approach the planet. This is the moon Ganymede. This is the GRS. We just saw earlier in the stream, we saw the shadow. So the sun is coming from here on the left, a little bit on the left still. It's not yet opposition, so it's not straight on. We saw the shadow of Ganymede move across the planet as Ganymede got closer to the planet. So we will, I don't know, we might see Ganymede actually transit in front of the planet before daylight happens. I'm not sure. So that could be interesting stuff to watch if we're lucky, but I'll make sure that you can still see Ganymede there. I apologize. Ganymede's my new favorite moon because I actually managed a few days ago for the first time in my life to actually capture detail on the moon of Ganymede, which was insane. I mean, the skies were so steady for about 20 minutes, almost right before sunrise, and I scrambled down to the telescope because my hard drive was full, and so I grabbed my external drive and I copied a few files off as quickly as I could. So I've got an external SSD, copied them off to the external SSD quickly while I'm watching the camera feed, hoping that it doesn't get any worse. And then I was able to capture about 8 minutes worth of data. And oh man, it was the best seeing I think I've ever seen in my life. It was so steady. So that was super cool. Let's see. What do we got? Oh, we got some stuff. Sorry about that. Yeah, Chris, White Whale, the project. Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big project, man. But it's cool. Sharon, I got a pretty damn clear morning. Yes, awesome, man. Yes, it's going to take a long time to process those planetary videos. Pre-processing is easy. It's the post, just like it takes concentration too. Still shooting Saturn today. Yeah, I will move to Saturn as soon as I get a few more infrared runs of the Great Red Spot, and then I'll move over to Saturn and do a little bit of Saturn after this. So yes, definitely. I hope I don't have to. I might have to switch the scope around to do that. So you might have to. Give me a minute when I do move to Saturn. We'll have to see how it looks. Chris, you're parking your scope and grabbing a coffee, huh? Sky's getting bright already for you, I suppose. It's gonna start to get brighter for me in a little bit. Hope your imaging works out. All right. Cheers, Tian. Prima946. Enjoy your day. First time watching, so far so good. You like it? Omaha, Nebraska. Nice. Thanks for joining, Brad. In Omaha, I used to spend a lot of time in Omaha, actually, and when I lived in the States. Got a good friend that lives there. I've got family in Omaha. So, yeah, I know Omaha well. I used to drive up and down Dodge. Well, not up and down, not like a teenager. I didn't cruise Dodge. Well, I did when I was a teenager with my teenage cousins, as one does. That was a long time ago. Jeez. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. No, well, I'm 41, so that was a long time ago that I did that. The stupid teenage stuff. I'm refocusing now. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, again, definitely put them in the chat. I will do my best to answer. I should check Twitter, actually, to see if I've got anything on Twitter. Usually people stick to the chat, but, you never know. Might be something. Where's that? What have we got? No, okay, good. No Twitter questions. People are sticking to the chat, so that's awesome. That's perfect. It's better here. Let's see. Yeah. So I've captured. Let's look and see how many of these infrareds I've captured so far. So I've got, you can see that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is my 5th. I want to capture more than that. Seeing is poor. I want to capture 3 more after this. So I'm going to do 8 IRs, and then I will move to Saturn. Oh my goodness, I just realized now the audio on the computer down there is loud, man. Oh, need to get that off there. It doesn't need to be that loud. Let's see. There. Much quieter now. And you can go away now, this thing. Not that. There. Oh, okay. What did I lose here? I lost. I need to switch. Where's my control? There it is. This infrared's actually looking okay. I mean, Saturn will probably look okay. Yeah, the forecast was reasonably accurate. This is quite poor. Clyde says he's a friend of mine in nearby. He lives about 40 kilometers away from me. Also, a planetary imager up early this morning at an ungodly hour, as I was. Um, he's been imaging. He says, yeah, the forecast was bad for today. Um, we expected it to be bad, but we were kind of secretly hoping that it would be good. He says his infrareds would put it about a 4 out of the scale of 10. So if you're, looking at 10 being the best seeing, the best atmosphere, the cleanest, the steadiest, 10 being the best, he puts it at a 4. So I was gonna make it maybe a 5, but yeah, I mean it's just a judgment call. It's a tough judgment call. It's like one of those things like who's right? How do you judge? There are ways to measure it. We've been chatting here and there about um, a system using a telescope that uses masks and software and stuff to do some sort of atmospheric measuring of stability and that kind of thing. Um, to be honest, yeah, like when we chatted about using FH full width half max FWHM, which is a focus procedure to to decide what the seeing is. But in the end, like I'm gonna come out anyway. I'm not gonna. I would just, I guess, like to know, is it me or is it the atmosphere? But I guess when you do this long enough, you kind of know if it's the atmosphere or if it's you. Um, here's the GRS. We see detail in the cloud bands. It's cool, actually. Um, AB, here half mile from Dodge. So AB here is watching from Omaha. Oddly enough, so I was in a band for a long time called Summer Camp, and we played in Omaha a lot. I forgot what the name of the bar was that we played at. And we played there quite often. A few places in Omaha, actually. Um, it was an Irish pub. Anyway, yeah. So got a lot of experience in Omaha. Funny. Melvin, considering the seeing amazing Jupiter from yesterday. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, for the people that didn't see that, I'll pop it up again. So yesterday's Jupiter was insanely bad. Um, well, the seeing was insanely bad. It was cloudy. Hold on, I need to start a new capture because otherwise we won't be able to move to Saturn quick enough. Um, so the seeing on Jupiter was insanely bad, but this was the final image that I managed out of that particular session. So this was through the clouds. Um, we had like this popping in and out. It was just ridiculously bad, and one of my image captures was pretty good. I mean, you can see here. I mean, you can see the detail and the color difference there. You can see quite a bit of turbulence in the equatorial band, the north here. You can see some of these little festoons. You can see stuff. I'm actually, it's not the greatest image, but considering the seeing, it turned out well. So that's why I popped that up there again, because Melvin mentioned that. Thanks again. From Australia. Melvin, I'm actually disappointed that Dylan was behaving himself. I think he is stressed out from work and the lockdown and everything. He's very, very busy. For people that don't know, if you didn't see the beginning, you need to go back to the beginning of the stream where Dylan O'Donnell joined me, a friend of mine in Australia. He's the organizer of Star Stuff in Australia. And he's a generally pretty decent human being. I mean, for all I know, I'm excited someday. I'd like to drink a few beers with Dylan, go see a show, and check out the Australian skies. But that's pipe dream here at the moment. Um, anyway, he joined at the beginning of this stream, and we were talking about some of the science and some of the things with Jupiter. And he let me fiddle while he did some talking. So I'm adjusting focus constantly. I know it's strange, but it's. I mean, we can see the moon Ganymede jumping around as well. This is going to be. If I get something out of this, I'll be happy. But I'm not going to count any chickens because it's not that great. And you can see the telescope. I mean, this thing is this is past zenith. We're actually imaging past zenith at the moment. Jupiter is, I will tell you exactly where Jupiter is. Jupiter is currently 84 degrees. It's pretty much at, it's at zenith right now. It's at the highest it's going to be, just a little bit past that point. So I know I'm lucky being in the southern hemisphere. The fact that the planets are so high for me. But listen, that won't last forever. And northern hemisphere folks, it will be your turn soon enough. Maybe not soon enough, but in a few years you will have nice high planets. So I'm doing my best to share that with you now. Even though I know it's a little bit frustrating. Okay, let's see. Should I do one more? Because, I need to do one more. When in doubt, shoot again. Oh, what have we got here? What's now? Kevin, you're a regular on this stream, aren't you now? That's cool. Hi, Kevin. How's it going? Seeing is pretty bad. But I expected it to be bad. I just wanted to shoot the GRS when it was well positioned, because it is definitely well positioned. My friend Clyde nearby also agreed that the seeing was pretty bad. He estimated it 4 out of 10 for the seeing, so not great at all. But yeah, we're dealing with it. We're doing what we can. Anybody new? Feel free to ask questions. I can let you know what's going on. How this is working. What we're seeing. What we're seeing right now is the Great Red Spot and the Moon Ganymede here. Earlier in the evening, the morning, whatever. It's almost 5 o'clock in the morning. It's 4:45 in the morning right now here. We saw the shadow of Ganymede on the planet as it was moving through. What else? We had Dylan O'Donnell on from Australia. He's got a really cool YouTube channel. He's part of the team at photographingspace.com. He was early on in my, if you want to call it a career, my astrophotography, astronomy career. Dylan and I got to know each other quite well, became friends. Check out his YouTube channel if you want. It's got some really cool stuff, and he's a funny dude. So, how many of these have I got now? Let's check. I've got infrareds. I've got quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means I could do a 10-frame animation of infrared. Let's do another one. Or do you? Okay. I need a vote. I need a vote in the comments. Do we want allow me to shoot some more infrared so that I can maybe have a better image? Or do we want to move over to Saturn? I think we just want to move over to Saturn because really, I don't know if I'm going to have time to create an animation. Plus, the seeing is pretty poor, so maybe we just want to look around. This is tough. This is tough to get a good image out of this, but I'm trying anyway. Why not? And I keep adjusting focus. Might be in, might be not. Jumping so much, it's hard to tell. Yeah, I've got, that's the thing is you can make an animation out of, any good run chain of data. It's just, will I have time? As soon as the sun comes up, then I do. You do you. I want to do it. If I could do that, I would spend all my daytime working on astro data. But unfortunately, I also need to buy food, and in order to do that, I've got to do my day job, which is also at this desk, but it just doesn't involve cool astronomy stuff, unfortunately. But that's okay. So I'm going to look over at my iPad, my planetarium app, and see where exactly. Oh, yeah, okay. We're totally going to move to Saturn. We are going to move over to Saturn just now. Definitely. Okay, cool. Yeah. We're definitely going to do that. Should we move to Saturn? Let's move to Saturn. Okay, cool. Give me a minute, and we are going to move to Saturn and pop some questions in the feed, pop some questions in the chat. I'll be right back, and I will answer some questions. We'll do Q&As. We'll do all of that. I'm going to leave the scope where it is just for a moment, for a little bit, just like a minute or two, and then I'm going to run outside and check the conditions, see what it looks like, and then also I'll be right back, and then we'll go to Saturn. Moving to Saturn now, just now. I'm going to use the South African just now. Okay, cool. I'll be right back and move to Saturn. All right. So I am back. I'm bald and kind of cold, so I'm gonna put my hood up and be all mysterious. Let's move to Saturn now. Things are looking good. So I'm going to max out this view. Oh, thank you. Oh no. Thank you, Clyde. Clyde reminds me. Don't forget my Jupiter wide view so that I can get. I need to do that. Yes, I need to do that. So I'm going to explain what I'm doing now. I can get Europa and okay. So here we go. Check this out. This is cool. While we're on infrared, check this out. We've got moons Io, Ganymede, and Europa, all nice and far away from the planet. That's a good thing. The reason that's a good thing is because when I go back and I derotate this in software, and I basically take the whole thing and say, let's center that. Let's keep it nice and centered. Okay, good. That'll be good. Let's, yeah, that'll be fine. I'm going to shoot some of this wide field. Okay, this will be, and this will also make a nice image anyway. So yeah, so when I derotate this, what you do is you align the software to the planet, and then it makes sure that all of your frames are perfectly in the same angle. So that means your data will be much better when you stack, because everything will be perfectly aligned, and instead of being blurry, it will be nice and sharp. That's the idea anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and just shoot this. How big is this file? It's already, see, I'm already at 6 gigabytes for this one file. This is nuts, man. I'm going to let it shoot though, because it might actually turn out pretty cool. So I'm going to let it go to 90 seconds, and then we will stop. We're at almost 8 gigabytes. We are at 8 gigabytes for one file. We are at 90 seconds, and now, okay, that's 90 seconds. There we go. Thanks, Clyde. Thanks for the reminder. Where are we? What brought me to SA? I'll tell you just now after we move over to Saturn. Okay, so we're going to turn this off. We're going to move over to Saturn like this. Let's see. This is Jupiter, obviously. Set that back to max. Why is it so dim? Oh, because it's on Loom. Let's make sure it's on infrared. Okay, so Saturn's going to be nice and bright. We're going to switch over to this scope, which is the guide scope, and why it's off center. It must have moved a little bit. So we're going to make sure that that's pointed right at the center. Going to go over to this nice looking thing, and we can see Saturn is right there, close by. Saturn is right at its zenith, so we're actually going to go back, which is great. Move that over. Now, this is super cheating. But we're going to try it. This is going to be interesting. You can watch the scope move. I mean, how cool is that, man? I don't know. I think it's cool. Oh no, this is crap. I actually have to stop it. Um, Mount. Stop. Okay. It's doing. Problem here is it's actually doing a meridian flip, which I don't want to do because my cables are not long enough. So I'm actually going to move it back. Manually. Yeah, sorry about this. This is gonna be okay. This is the thing with astrophotography. Change this rate. I'm gonna move this green over to the yellow, which you probably can't see. Okay, let's do this, and then you can watch the scope move again because it's pretty cool. Okay, we'll change this to 8. Which direction are we going? There we go. Now you can still watch the scope move, and it's still really cool. The telescope wanted to do a meridian flip, which is not something I wanted to do right now, because it is a pain. Well, it's not a pain. I just have to go down there and do it myself. So watch that scope move. It's cool. Watch the actual telescope in the red. Yeah, we're past, just past the, oops, let me go this way. Okay, now, go which direction? No, other direction. Okay. Zoom in. Put this thing there. Set the rate down because we're getting close. Oops. Even further. Let's get it in there. Yeah, I don't want anything automatic at this point. And there's Saturn right there. We need to put that in the crosshair. So I'll set this down to 4. Let's go the right direction. See moons of Saturn kind of scattered around. Okay, so my histogram over there is showing me it's probably in the middle. Let's switch back to there, and bam, we've got Saturn. Thank you again. When I got the moon details the other day, it was so cool. Yeah, man. Thank you, Sharon. It was super cool. It was awesome. So I'm in infrared on Saturn right now, and it is super dim. I'm boosting my. Okay, before I do that, I want to turn on the ephemerides. I want to center it a little better so that the auto align can do its thing. Okay, and then do that. There's, okay, that's perfect. Now, We've got our clipping box. We can zoom in nice and slow and make it big, because small isn't as fun. And we'll put this in there. And actually, let me move it over a little. Oh no, it's filled. Yeah, this is a full screen here. We've got a filled screen. Need my focus too. Whoa, 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 whoa. Move this up. I'm not going to change that. Okay, so we've got Saturn. There we got it. Yes. So if somebody's new to the stream, we just moved from Jupiter to Saturn. This is now Saturn in infrared, and yes, it is the atmosphere that is making it wavy. Turbulent air, think of it as a mirage. You know, when you look at a long lens or just look down the road really far and it's hot, we're basically looking through many layers of atmosphere and air and heat currents and all kinds of things that's causing problems. So I'm going to attempt to do some focusing here. Oh, and I need to change the scroll, don't I? Before I focus, I'll do that. Saturn. Done. Okay, so Dennis. Yes, you're wicked smart. Dennis is wicked smart. Totally guessed the atmosphere right. That was a great guess. What happened to my friggin' dots, though? Oh, there they are. This is too, sorry, guys, I'm going to make it a little smaller because this is too big. I can't see what I want to see. I'm going to move it over a little bit so that I can put all the controls on the screen. Then you can see it. There, that's going to be better. And then there's that. What do you think? Is that, how's that? That's nice, eh? Yeah, we'll do that. Perfect. Now it's like this crazy thing on the screen. Okay, now we can focus. We're going to focus on focusing. Yeah, I'm trying to find the aliens. I just can't get good enough focus, Dennis. Sorry. This is the closest thing to a flying saucer you're going to see tonight. Is Saturn. It looks like one, though. Maybe that's why flying saucers, you know, have that look, because people looked through the telescope. This scene is bad. I mean, this is really bad. The atmosphere is rough. It's not normally this bad. I mean, when it's bad, it's I haven't seen it this bad in a long time. Wow. Clyde, if you're still watching, it just got worse. Dennis, wow, that is so bad. Oh my goodness, come on now. This is rough. Finding focus is tough here. I'm gonna really try hard by really moving it way out and then maybe back in if I can find it. the focus point should be exactly the same, but it seems as if our atmospheric conditions have just gotten even worse. It is 5 o'clock in the morning right now here. And either it's my tired eyes seeing absolutely garbage, or it's just bad. It almost looks like it's the best we're going to get. Ooh, wow. I just sit here and click the mouse the whole time. Ability. Ooh, slowly getting there. Maybe we'll find focus after all. Okay, that's not so bad. At least we can see the Cassini division. Yeah, Saturn is rough, but it seems like it's coming back. I'm constantly focusing here. As you can see in the lower left corner, I'm clicking the focuser back and forth, trying to find some semblance of focus. It's difficult. Yeah. Maybe Saturn's had too much coffee. It's so jittery, you know? Is that even a possibility? Too much coffee? I'm not sure. Pack up. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I gotta be up soon anyway. Suppose I could slam in a power nap. Wow, that's bad. I'm gonna shoot anyway. What's gonna happen? What do you think? I mean, Jupiter wasn't this bad. Or was it? Oh, I hope not. This is really bad. Really bad atmosphere. But it's still Saturn, so it's still cool. I think that's the best we're going to get. So I'm just going to shoot a bunch of IR Saturn. Why not? What's the harm? We're going to do this. I mean, a file size of this small, because Saturn is quite a bit smaller than Jupiter. So the actual box. I mean, I'm only capturing, let's see, 468 by 340 pixels. That's what that white box around Saturn is. Clyde, question. Why are you shooting a string? So Clyde says he's limiting himself to a string of reds on Saturn. Why reds and not infrared? Is there a scientific reason why that data, the red data, is more interesting than infrared? Or I mean, should I be shooting red instead of infrared? You know, or is red, I mean, if I can even get red in focus. So my question is that, yes. 102776. 776 is better, huh? Is that what you think? Should we go to 776? I disagree. I think 756 was better. It was definitely better at 756. I'm not listening to you, Kevin. You can't tell my scope what to do. Yeah, see, 756 is way better than 776. Let's try 746. No. I think 756 was the current sweet spot, but it's all garbage. It is all crap right now. So I also shoot 2 minutes on Saturn just because, I mean, there's not a whole lot of detail there. You can get away with longer, but there is detail if you have really good seeing. You know, there's some cool stuff you can see. Let me do another one just in case of infrared, and then maybe, yeah, so let's take note. So it's 102.756 on Saturn. Yeah, 102.756. 102.756 was the sweet spot for IR sat. So that way, when we move to red, I'll do some reds and see if I can get red in focus. I can come back to infrared if it's garbage. Yeah. These dogs are going wild in the neighborhood right now. It's a bit crazy. You know, I could use a nap. I was up early yesterday too. My coffee's gone. Oh crap. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What? While we're waiting for this to capture, I just had a momentary lapse of sanity, I think. Really, you get better results with red than infrared. Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try it. Why not? What's the harm? I'm gonna try and I'm gonna move to red from infrared and see the alignments of Mars, Jupiter. I don't know what you even mean, but no, that has nothing to do with it. Maybe Clyde's right because this already looks better, but I need to adjust the gain. 31. Why am I shooting 31? That's too. No, we're gonna change that to 25. 31 is a little nuts. That's too slow. That's better. Means we'd still have to pump the gain, but that's okay. Boost the gain to 385, so that's going to be about 70% on the histogram. Yeah, that's the best we're going to get with red is 70%. Now, finding focus. I believe it's this way. I already wrote down what it was for infrared. I'm going to try Clyde's method of shooting reds, and maybe I'll just stop shooting infrared. Whoa. When seeing is this bad, it's so hard to figure out if you're moving. Okay, that's definitely so watch that. You can see those ghost images. That's when you've definitely got it out of the right way. You gotta move it back now to find that red focus point. I can do it. I just have to find it. This is also quite tough. Okay, well, I'm going to go back now a little bit to where I was before, move in smaller increments. And then I'm just going to shoot a whole bunch of these. Maybe I'll try and do a time lapse, so it'll be like a whole bunch in a row automatically, so I don't even have to click the button, because since I don't have to change filters, And once I find focus, I shouldn't have to adjust it. I will shoot a string. So I'm also looking at the Cassini division. I want it to jump around as little as possible. Because otherwise you're going to get these little double lines and it just gets nasty. Like it just did, so now I got to go back a little bit. It's a patience thing. You have to kind of wait around. You know, did my focus come out? Is it just a bad spot in the air? Can I focus better? Have I hit the spot? It's not good. Yeah, I've done Mars before. Mars is very small right now, so there's not a lot of detail, and especially on a night like tonight, it's gonna look like a proper mess. I'll do Mars in another live stream, in a future live stream, when it's not so bad. Geez, I think that's as good as we're gonna get. Okay, I'm just gonna shoot a bunch of these. Now, I've never done a time lapse with fire capture before. I think it's this button. Is that this one? Time lapse. Let's do this. Delay. No, we want a delay of like, I don't know. Let's do a delay of like, I don't know. Let's say 4 seconds. Repeat. We're gonna do. Let's do 10. SCRs. No timestamps. Is that just gonna go? I think. And then we can just focus as it goes. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. So we can watch this happen. I'm not going to adjust that anymore. Oh wait, yes we are. This is what I want to see. No. This we're not going to touch. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. So we'll do a 4-second delay in between each thing. No timestamp. Why not? What do you say? And start. Oh, does it do 1 frame at a time? No. That's lame. That is not at all what I wanted to do. I thought it would run a bunch of runs. Oh, it is. Oh no, that's not cool. No, that's not what I want to do. Okay, that's a fail. That's only capturing the one. I lost my zoom. Sorry about that. Get it back. I lost my freaking dots. Where's the other side of things? Sorry, I'm moving this around because I'm confused at what's happening here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Listen to the constant stream of my consciousness. Okay. That was an utter failure of the time-lapse mode. So we're definitely not going to do that, and we're just going to do it manually. I suppose I could use auto run and only do the red. Yeah, I could do that, I suppose. We'll just do a whole bunch in a row. That's what I'll do. How about that, huh? How was that? Yeah, it really does kind of look better. It's more, maybe more pleasing. I don't know. Yeah, so those planets are somewhat aligned horizontally only by eye. For me, it was vertical here, and it depends on, horizontally, vertically. It depends on what time of the night you're looking at. But dude, they're so far away. It doesn't. There's absolutely no. There's really. It's meaningless. Those alignments are completely meaningless. So it's just the way they are at the moment. So. Yeah, we're just gonna shoot a bunch of these R's in a row. We might as well, because it could look really pleasing, really nice, and then I can just kind of adjust focus as we go. See, Clyde has been doing this for high quality planetary. I've been doing planetary imaging for a long time, but Clyde, who was in the comments there, he's been doing planetary imaging at a high level of quality for many years, and whether he likes it or not, I've kind of latched onto him as a bit of a mentor for me. So I'm going to take his advice very strongly and do things that he suggests and test them, because it's just the right thing to do. Okay, now I'm going to try an auto run sequence of just, did I lose? Can you only do that? Screw all this automated stuff. I'm just going to do it manually. See, this is why the software frustrates a lot of people sometimes, because they try and do stuff and they get frustrated when the thing is, in the end, you just want those results and you don't want to mess around with the software and things. So, yeah. So we're looking at Saturn in red now. This is the red color channel. So this is visible to the human eye, where infrared was not visible, but red is visible to the human eye, and it's actually, it's pretty smooth. I'm impressed. I'm just gonna do a bunch of reds. This is so bad. I'm not even gonna bother doing color on this, because there's just no point. But yeah, we'll just do a whole bunch of these in a row, and go with that. I wonder if I can find in my settings while this is going. We're gonna look here. RGB sequence is gone. Don't want to mess with that. No. is all stuff. Okay, it's still going fine. No, I'll figure that out another time so I can just do a bunch of those in a row. Because it would be nice not to have to click the button, but hey, it's only clicking a button. Not that big of a deal. I think I can manage like that. Okay, so let's see. Oh, did you send a link? What link? I didn't even see a link. Did you send a link to something, Kevin? Not sure if that pick link will work. If you sent an image or something, I don't know, send it to me on Twitter and I'll try and share it here. I have not tried the focus help in Fire Capture ever. Makes me want to try focus help. Where is focus help? That is going to be, it's the reticle. How about this? We're going to shoot. You put all this stuff on the screen. What's this one? Flat field, dark frame, ADC tuning. I don't have to worry about. Timestamp. Where's the focus help again? I forgot. What are they cropping? Is it this one? No. Preview mask. No. Where's the dang focus help button? I haven't used it, but I've seen the button. That's the histogram auto guide. Maybe did I turn off that button? Okay, I'm going to look for it. As soon as I'm going to, okay, I'm going to start another capture and then I'm going to try focus help on Fire Capture. So I'm going to go into settings because it's possible I got rid of. Where's focus help? Am I blind? Because why don't I see it? Filters, focuser. That I've already got set up. Display. Damn, man, where is that? Huh? How can I not find it? You guys need to help me. I'm obviously very summarize. Oh, so I need to add. Oh no, changes will only take effect after. There's focus help. Okay, we'll add that in. I'm gonna put that up here. Okay, and that'll happen later. So that's going to be actually, I saw it. Here, focus help. Whoa, whoa. What happened here? Why is this so weird? Why did this thing get so out of whack? There. Yeah, the mount's like getting far away. Okay, I'm gonna shoot this now. Okay, so there's that. Now I have found the secret focus help here. Aha! Ooh, that's cool. We've got a heartbeat. Yeah, we've got a heartbeat on Saturn now. Let's try. Now, okay. I know it messes with the image and everything. Let's see, can we move? No, it goes with it right down the center. Let's sharpness compared to star. We're at 100% already. So does that mean that my eye is good? See, up, down. I need to go back to where I was before. Huh. That's interesting. As soon as this capture is done, I'll play with that some more. Because that could be worth using. Oh, shoot. I need to zoom out a little bit so I can have a better idea of these flipping auto align boxes. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now focus help. Let's check this out. Okay, so there's a focus help. So what I'm doing is here, this is a little focus help thing. Click on that. It gives us a graph. And up here, it tells us the sharpness compared to the start. Now, I assume we want black to be right around 100%, which is what we're doing. So let's kind of make it wild autofocus. I'm not sure if this is helping me or not. Whoa, there's a spike. It's always saying 100%. Maybe that's just because the seeing is so crazy. It's like it's never gonna get worse, dude. This is as good as it's gonna get. So maybe it's not so helpful for me. I'm gonna have to look up that a little bit more. But I did move it quite a bit in the other direction. That's definitely worse. So what? Yeah, it's still saying like 100%. Seeing is just so bad. It's even this focus help thing is being confused. This is now known as the night of bad seeing. This is the worst I've seen it in a long time. Can I get it? It's just all over the place, man. Yeah, that's not really. It's showing me consistency, I guess. Okay, that goes with what I saw. You can see that graph move up and down. I mean, that would be rad to see that thing flatline. This is the first I've actually used that focus help graph. Yes, definitely hopeless. Definitely hopeless. Okay, Clyde, have a nap. Everybody say goodbye to Clyde. Bye, Clyde. Oh, it's just getting horrible. It's getting horrible. Wow. See, I didn't move anything, but I wonder, is it using the dots? Because that could be a problem. Is it using auto align? And this. Turn off the clipping box. Nah, it's not. Okay, so first we need to auto align it. Then we put on the clipping box. Yeah, I'll have to test out this focus help business on a night when it's actually. Hey, you guys listened. That's cool. I like it. You guys are friends. Okay. Yeah, this is just getting bad now. I'm gonna shoot one more two. So this is the 2 minute warning of the end of the stream, and then I'm also gonna take a little power nap. I'm gonna start the 2 minute exposure countdown timer. As soon as I can get this red to look halfway friggin' decent. Because it just does not want to play nice. The atmosphere is taking a complete dump. Come on, find focus, find focus. I cannot do it. This is just rough. It's rough. Huh? I think I'm getting more picky. The more days in a row I do this, the more picky. So like, it's like, oh, I remember it looked good the other day. Anyway, let's do this 2 minute warning, countdown timer. Here's your timer bar. Thanks everybody for joining in. Appreciate the viewing and the chat, and I hope everyone is staying safe and all of that stuff. Yeah. So this is Saturn. Any final questions? Get them in right now, because got about 85 seconds before I'm gonna shut the stream down. 85-second warning. 85-second warning. How many seconds now? 77. Should I do a countdown? Yeah. So I'm just going to do what I can to get these images done and sorted out. And if I can get an image out of the deal, I will, and I'll post it on the normal feeds. I'm more active on Twitter because I feel like I can put more junk out there and more random stuff. And I try and save the better images for Instagram. So if you're only following me on Instagram, go to Twitter and you can see a lot more stuff. There's a lot more of the technical things and random musings about what's going on. Cheers, man. Cheers from Omaha. Cheers from Lestain. Justin, cheers. When do I normally? I post the post-process images when I get them done. And because I have a normal day job, that always depends on how much time I have during the day or whenever to do it. As soon as I'm done here, I'll go wrap up the telescope, get that thing kind of squared away, grab the computer, bring it inside, and I'll start the software doing the stacks. And then I have to go through the stacks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually soon, I promise this, hold me to it, I'm going to set a time, and then I'll basically just go through my current processing workflow on a live stream, because everybody's always like, how do you do all of the, they want to know how I do my processing and just how it's done in general. And it is a huge part of this is the processing and the post-processing and everything, because it's like, you think you get crap. I'm going to do another one because it's looking nice. You think you've got crap out there, and you actually, might have some decent stuff. So anyway, I will do a post-processing live stream. It's not going to be like a class necessarily, because it's just going to be, me going through and doing stuff. I'm not the best planetary imager in the world, so I'm not going to tell you how you have to do things or should. I'm just going to show you how I do them. And that's how all my tutorials and everything are, really, is I show you how I do it. So if you like my images, if you think my images are good, then it will be valuable to you to watch, these live streams, and to watch if I do when I do the post-processing live stream, it'll be of value to you, because then at least you can know how I do the stuff that you might like. So yeah, that's the best I can do, really, is to do that. So anyway, watch my Twitter feed and Instagram and everything, and then you'll know when to watch. So cheers. Thank you all. Another 40 seconds countdown. I'll wait until this one's done, and then we'll go. Geez, we've been at this for 2 hours and 38 minutes already. Oh, wow. That's a long time. That's a long time, but it's not the longest one. We did a 6-hour live stream of the total lunar eclipse in 2018. That was pretty crazy. That was pretty epic. So yeah. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Stay safe. Stay home. Be smart. Remember, it's not about you. It's about everybody. So let's do this. Enjoy space. Everybody needs their space, including me. All right. Cheers.